I'm Turk Strongman, current resident at Mind Voltage Institute. We have arrived at part 4 in L.W. deLaurance's The Master Key. Part 4, Chapter 23, Lesson 21, Will Culture, Mind Training. Subsection, the nature of volition. Now, volition is the self-realization of an idea with which the self is identified. It has been said that volition is nothing but attention, and attention with effort is all that any case of volition implies. Volition, however, cannot be dismissed so easily. I mean, what do you mean by effort? In attention with effort is all that any case of volition implies. Now, before I continue, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, take a moment to do it right now, and at the same time activate the notification bell feature to be apprised of our new uploads here at Mind Voltage. Be sure to like and to share this video. Yeah, and just below your media player window right now, in the video description area, you will find a donation by PayPal information. Please make note of it. What do we mean by effort? Nope. Before you can attend to an act of volition, you must have an idea upon which to focus attention. This idea must be one, with which you can identify yourself. It must have a definiteness of aim, so that the end to be achieved can be foreseen. Suppose you resolve to master a problem in mathematics. The problem forms your idea, and upon it you focus all your attention. You know the problem to be difficult, yet you feel its difficulties are not beyond your powers. The end in view is the solution to the problem, and you know when you reach this end that you will experience pleasure, satisfaction. When you will to solve the problem, you know it will require close attention. Do you feel that your attention is the master key in the situation? No. You feel that the master key is the spirit within you, the self, that will not be satisfied until the problem is solved. Excuse me. Excuse me a moment. A draught of water. Attention is of vital importance, but volition is something more than this. It is the cognitive spirit within you, the striving, urging, driving, won't be beaten element, which will not rest until it is satisfied, and then, like all cognation, ceases, leaving will triumphant. But suppose while you are attending to the problem, some idea other than the problem enters consciousness, an idea rooted in your instincts or impulses, and suppose this idea is strong enough to make you abandon the problem. Well, this alien idea will not be a volition, for it is not identified with the self. It was not willed by you. You will now see that for an idea to constitute I will begin the sentence again. You will now see that for an idea to constitute a volition, it must be one that is identified with you. You must be able to keep it at the focus of consciousness. You must be able to inhibit all other ideas, and the power that is going to enable you to do this is the thought of what you are going to do, coupled with the cognitive spirit within you, urging you to satisfy it. This forms your impulse to action, and according to its strength will be the probability of your succeeding in solving the problem. So recognizes this, then when you speak of a certain type of man as about to do something, we say, oh, he is sure to succeed. He's got it in him. This initial impulse calls upon the whole organism to support its efforts. Common speech recognizes this when it says, Smith has succeeded, but it took it out of him. Just as the thought of strength adds to our strength. This initial impulse with its mental and physical helpers forms the motor force which lies behind attention, and as it gathers strength, forces you to attend. The cognitive element, the striving, struggling, driving element, is therefore the prime essential in volition, and attention may therefore be said to be merely its attendant. Factors that influence volition. Every time you will to do something, that is, every time you focus attention on an idea with the object of carrying it out in fact, there are certain things which help you and certain things that hinder you in the volitional process. These things, or factors, have a dual nature. Excuse me. Sometimes they are friendly to your cause and help you enormously. At other times, they wreck your resolutions and plunge you into despair. That you may consider these factors. I will group them as follows. First, emotions and instincts. Second, desires and motives. And third, suggestion. The student should examine each of these three groups carefully, for their analysis will help greatly awaken. Their analysis will help greatly when he comes to the question of how to educate the will. Students are therefore requested to give particular attention to the remarks under each group. The first group, the emotions and instincts. In treating the emotions and instincts, I shall deal first with the nature of emotion, and then next the nature of instinct, and lastly the emotions and their correlate instincts. The emotions and their correlate instincts. First, the nature of emotion. That the student may better understand what is meant by emotion, I will here give the order of the events in an emotional state. First, perception of an exciting object. Second, mental shock. And third, correlation of bodily disturbance or commotion with the shock. If you are walking through a field and you suddenly see a bull coming tearing after you, the perception of this exciting object causes you a mental shock. The mental distress is immediately followed by bodily distress. The emotion of fear now arouses its correlate instinct. Its correlate instinct, flight, and you take to your heels as best as your mental and bodily distress will allow you. Now this illustrates the perceptual class of emotional states. The other classes are the ideational class and the organic class. Thus, sometimes the thought of something, the mere idea, is sufficient to commence the emotional process. At other times, organic changes, that is, a disturbance in the viscera or any bodily organ, is sufficient to arouse an emotion. Drugs and alcohol have a like effect. Thus, bromides will render a brave man when quick to anger, timid and dull, while tonics, caffeine, cola, or alcohol, taken in excess, can make one who is generally low-spirited and not particularly heroic, merry, adventurous, or even cruel. Emotions are marked by two characteristic outstanding features. First, their tendency to persist when one's aroused, and second, to attack any object which presents itself. This latter feature is very marked in animals. Thus, a number of dogs attracted by and failing to understand the cause of another dog's howling commence to fight with each other. Their emotions have been aroused. The dog seizes on the first thing that presents itself, another dog. Men are like animals in this respect. Let the emotion of anger be aroused, and they're ready to fight with their dearest and closest friends. The nature of instinct. Primitive man was dominated by his instincts. If he was angry, he would let go without considering the result. If he was afraid, he took to his heels at once. If he wanted a wife, he did not wait to get her parents' consent. He took her by force if need be. With primitive man, his instincts were impulses to act immediately, and this feature is still prominent today. Instincts may be regarded as innate tendencies of the mind to act in a specific way. Ways which you usually say are independent of education, previous experience, or a knowledge of ends. They are distinguished from a reflex action since they involve perception as well as sensational factors. They cannot be acquired nor entirely eradicated, but suffer modification to a certain extent through environment. Many instincts are not constant. They ripen at a certain age and then die away. It is owing to the power of instincts that education has such feeble results in molding character. To understand a child, you must understand its dominant instincts. All your fault-finding, your admonition, your punishments will be of little avail unless you understand the part a child's instincts plays in its life. And this applies to yourself also. If you wish to understand yourself, you must study your instincts and the part they play and have played in your life. Your instincts are the hidden forces that are constantly spurring you on to good or evil. They inspire you to or deter you from actions that lead to success in any pursuit. They color all your thoughts. They color all your thoughts. They can plunge you into the depths of despair or raise you to the heights of bliss. You cannot ignore them. The emotions and their correlate instincts. Every emotion has its corresponding instinct, and every instinct has its corresponding emotion. Fear is perhaps the strongest of the emotions. Once it is aroused, it raises the instinct of flight. When the fear is overpowering, the instinct of flight gives way to that of concealment. In both cases, the respiration suffers, but in the paralyzing fear which leads to concealment, the heartbeat grows less and almost stops, just as if the organism were trying to stifle all noise. The emotion of anger is correlated with the instinct of pugnacity, anger. Closely allied with anger is the emotion of disgust, leading to the instinct of repulsion. You seek to push the offending object out of sight. The emotion of wonder rouses the instinct of curiosity. The emotion of wonder rouses the instinct of curiosity. If wonder attains a certain stage, it passes into the emotion of fear. The emotion of exhilaration, the joyous, full of life feeling, rouses the instinct of assertiveness. The I'm the man, I can do it, I'm master, get out of the way feeling. The negative of the emotion of exhilaration is the emotion of depression or despondency. The life is not worth living. Everything is going to the dogs feeling, with its correlate instinct of self-repression, the humble, slinking, crouching lick of dust feeling. excuse me, what are called the tender emotions, pity, sympathy, gratitude, etc., are connected with the parental instincts. All the other emotions and instincts are either derived from the above primary ones, emotions and instincts, or are composite forms of them. Thus, joy and sorrow, love and hate are commonly regarded as complex emotions, since several factors combine to produce these states. Emotion is the feeling that results from the bodily changes following the mental shock aroused by the perception of the exciting object. Well, our next subsection in lesson 21, will culture, mind training, is desire and motive. Beginning with, desires and motives play an important part in volition. Therefore, you should attempt to get a rough idea of what is meant by these terms, desire and motive. That's for the next video. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, now's the time to do it. Also, activate the notification bell feature while you're subscribing to be apprised of our new uploads here at Mindfulness. Be sure to share and to like this video and to take note of the donation by PayPal information in this video's description area immediately below your media player window right now. I'm Derek Strongman, current resident at Mindfulness Institute. See you in the next video. Be well.